Here at the Giver Marketing Network, we don't leave you drifting out in space. We connect you to a coach who will help you build and grow your marketing business. Our process acts as a guide on how to connect with other businesses, maintain good relations, and establish a presence on the Giver Marketing Network. Each member within this collaborative group will have the opportunity to leverage your talent and influence, a true network effect. If you are looking to collaborate on more projects, welcome to the Giver Marketing Network, the most trusted and highest rated collective of specialists on the planet. Here we have a group of like-minded professionals who focus on making valuable introductions and helping each other grow by teaming up. Imagine Upwork meets a network and a coach. The talent collectively includes services like visibility and SEO, creating logos, designing websites, managing social media, outreach messaging, visual storytelling, and much more. Think of what you could do with laser-focused allies strengthening your business while offering your talent to the entire network. Click near this video for more information.
Hey, welcome everybody to the Giver Marketing Network Masterclass with Joel Snyder. We're going to be discussing funnels and why many funnels in the marketplace fail today, what you can do to make sure people see and respond to your awesome marketing efforts out there, especially those funnels. We're going to be talking about first principles. I'd like to welcome the Kingdom Warriors University students and holders as well. And so here we go. Let's jump in with Joel Snyder from Coax Consulting, my friends. Joel, can you share with us just a little bit, like kind of your backstory, and we can just jump into it. It's going to be super fun.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm so excited to come, and I always enjoy presenting here with the Giver Marketing Network, and of course, being a member and a nurturing coach and interacting with the membership here. It always gives me a real sense of accomplishment and sense of pride to relay these principles out for people to grow and build the success of their business. So yeah, I come from the background of corporate incentive programs, working with human behavior, and just enjoy the idea of affecting the bottom line by adjusting how people behave. And whether it's an internal or an external marketing program, we can always affect the growth of our companies through human behavior. And isn't that what marketing is, right? So, my company name, Coax Consulting, Coax is the word that we use for the art of gentle persuasion. So we're not talking salesy, spammy stuff, but true nurturing and good principles for providing value-based information.
So you're coaxing us along on this journey of awesomeness, COAX, if you want to look it up, ladies and gentlemen. So let's jump into it, Joel. I'm excited. We've worked together so many times on different projects and presentations and master classes. This is like two brothers getting together and discussing and talking shop and having fun, pulling the proverbial hood open so we can talk about the engine, right? So here we go. Let's do it. Let's go ahead and share that screen, get some visual goodies going. So for all you who are taking notes, ask questions, take notes in the comments, because it helps the algorithm. It helps everybody. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Let us know what you're taking away from our masterclass today, what questions you have. We'll get to those questions in a minute. But as we go into it, funnels redefined. Come on, Joel, tell us what you got.
Yeah, so you're able to see the screen, I hope.
Yes.
And so we'll just jump right in. One thing that we know is that about 80% of all campaigns fail. And so we want to show you some tips and tricks that you can use to avoid that problem. So in today's presentation, we're going to talk about where these funnels, where they fail, not so much why they fail, but where the funnel fails. And this is an important element because there are so many different kinds of funnels, right? So we could talk about long form sales pages. We can talk about one-click conversions. We can talk about all different types of funnels but the purpose of this presentation today is to show you where that funnel might get broken and why your funnels don't convert. And when we talk about a funnel not converting, I have here according to who, right? So sometimes the funnel is successful, but the client doesn't feel it's successful, or you don't see it being succeeding, or we're not getting the right outcome based on how our funnels are converting. So we're going to then redefine exactly what this sales funnel is for building an audience, and then how to structure your budget for success. And in the end, what we all want is to take all of this investment in our cold traffic and turn them into raving fans. So let's talk about a little bit where funnels fail. One thing we know is that if we're giving instructions to the person viewing our content and we give them bad direction, or we don't have enough traffic, right? So we got to look at those elements. Those are very important. Sometimes we have an awesome sales funnel. We have a great product, something everyone needs and wants, but we don't have enough people going into the page to gain enough subscribers. So we're going to need to look at what's going to drive those conversions. So now what? So we have these steps to a successful funnel. So the first thing is our cold traffic sourcing. So when we're talking about cold traffic sourcing, we're actually talking about where we're going to get people from. And a lot of people, I have clients that say, my social media pages, but when we look at where they've got an audience, there just isn't enough numbers. So we have to gain more numbers. So we have got to find good traffic sources, right? And that could be by setting up a persona within Google. It could be a Facebook group. It could be, connections on LinkedIn. We got to find some good sources, right? And then we want to data capture, get some good analytics, and have a dashboard. This is foundational to streamlining your success and scaling, right? So the market is going to tell us what direction we need to go. And I've had a lot of clients say, well, I want to do this. I put some money on it and it didn't work. Well, my big question is, what did the market tell you? Did it tell you there's no market, which is okay too? But did it tell you that the market is behaving differently than what you expected, right? So we want to capture all of that data from our cold traffic. We want to get good analytics so that we can see and analyze what's going on. And then we want to have a good dashboard that's showing us in real time how people are interacting with our sales funnel content.
Joel, are we going to go deeper into some of these here, or is this really the visual that we need to screenshot?
Yeah, this is a good screenshot because these are some steps that you're going to want to have, and we'll go into some of the detail here. But today, we're in the context of promotion and having funnels that convert. So we're not going to go too deep in the weeds on the data side or developing the personas, but really kind of talk about making your sales funnels successful.
Okay, sounds good.
So one of the main elements that we want to talk about are high impact visuals, right? Good, compelling content, giving clear directions, and too good to resist offer, right? We want to put out something that's so good, you just can't resist it. If you have any interest at all, you're going to want to take advantage of it. So here's one that we created where we've called out the audience, right? We've given a high impact visual, and we've provided a nice offer. So in this case, the problem was who's supposed to see this and what's their problem, and then how do we solve it? So I put this into red, yellow, and green on the slide so you can kind of see the idea. Undetected errors compounding undetected errors causes lasting effects, right? That's the idea. If you don't detect errors, you're going to have problems in the future. So a mess up in your navigation, a few degrees can cost you millions or set you off target by miles. So that's the message here. So we wanted to present this client as the scaling navigator, someone who can grow their profit, and then offer them that free discovery call. This was another client we used where we were after IT directors and C-suite managers of large corporations that are looking to migrate their cloud to a cloud-based solution from their legacy systems. So here we're talking about mission-critical decisions, right? How to mitigate or how to migrate to the cloud, avoiding disruption, and having your mission-critical applications working. So what's required? You got to have a team of support. What's the offer? A free assessment, right? Who wouldn't want that? If you're talking about something as critical as moving your legacy systems to the cloud, you're going to want some expert advice. So giving them a free assessment was an awesome way to get their interest.
Joel, I just want to kind of make a comment here that take notes and screenshots, ladies and gentlemen. Pause and take a look at these visuals because they're easy to read. They're easy on the eyes. There's generally some good contrast for those things that are most important, especially. And whether you're building a landing page, a full funnel, a website, a social media page, just making sure that you have some basic elements of good examples like this is important. And of course, there's the tips on the left side of the screen, but that right side of the screen is what you want to really kind of take in as examples.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. Because the visual impact, right? We talked about that in the steps. So the visual impact is important. We want to get them to be able to see exactly, grab their interest, grab their attention, and then deliver that good content, right? So what if you're not using a landing page? What if it's a website conversion? So here's kind of the connection between the data that we talked about earlier and the visuals of converting a sales page. So in the website conversion, big question, go ahead and put in the chat, how many data points can you count right here on this page? And I'll give you a second to think about it. If you're tracking people's behavior, where are they, what's the data that you're going to collect right off of this page? So in this case, our client specializes in unique tax filing statuses. So they work with a lot of large corporations that have international workers. So some people are visa holders, some people are citizens, of course, permanent residents, right? And then there's I don't know how to proceed, right? So we got to answer that question as well. So we give them the opportunity to pick their status, get a quote, ask a question, and it's all right here. And we don't want to overwhelm people with content. I want to caution you on that a lot of funnels fail because they put too much information on the page. But here, this is important for people to take action based on what classification they're in. So unique text filing status, what's the solution? An expert tax service, right? And what's the too good to resist offer? Getting a free quote. And this is
so when you say data, Joel, when you're talking about data, kind of your data points or your information gathering on that slide that you have up there, you're talking, I mean, put it in the comments, ladies and gentlemen, but you're talking about basic things like name. What does it say underneath name? I'm trying to read it.
Name, email, phone number.
Right? So you got all that in that kind of the form section, but there's other data points too. Like if somebody clicked on a different, like one of the menu items or something like that, like you can track that stuff. If somebody gets a hold of you, they can learn how to track all of that stuff, right?
So here you go. How many data points could you count? Did you get the 20 yet?
Right? 20. Come on, Joel. That's awesome.
Right. So filing status, there's 3 data points there.
Okay.
Right. The interest form, it's got 4 data points. Social links at the top.
Yeah.
Did they click on a social link? What about a phone call link? Yes. Tracked, recorded. Those are some data points. All right. We use call tracking. We can record the calls. We can give feedback to our customer service team. There's lots of good reasons to record calls. Right. Now, here's where we get into the weeds a little bit. Your analytics will ask you how they got to the page. So where they entered the page, time on the page, clicks, exit points, right? Did they come and leave? Did they spend some time here? Navigation bar, right? There's four points there, and there's subpages, right? And I only gave one credit to subpages because you can't visually see it on this screen. But those are all data points, right? Traffic source. Did they come from, and we talked about this in the beginning, our cold traffic source? Are we drawing people in? Was it a paid traffic or organic traffic? Did they come in because they saw one of our ads or got a banner or something? Or did they come in just off of a general search, right? So all of that's going to help us create more success on our sales. So here we go, budget's redefined. So we talked about the funnel itself. Now let's talk about monetization and kind of where that works. My general rule of thumb is a 60-40 split. So what that means is if we have 60% of our budget is going into cold traffic, 40% of our budget is going into retargeting and nurturing. So we want to test all of our traffic, know our numbers, right? Improve on our numbers, and then launch. So a lot of our clients kind of do it backwards. They launch and then they go, well, what happened? This didn't work, right? So when we take on a project, the biggest thing that I talk to them about is testing. We test everything, track everything, and know our numbers, and then try to improve on them before we actually launch the campaign. I'm going to show you an amazing example of what I'm talking about. But one of the things that we're testing is our audience groups. We want to test our headlines, our images. How about colors? If you're doing political ads, maybe you want to have red versus blue ads, right? It's going to create a different response, right? We got to test budget. How much do we need to spend on a campaign to find critical mass to affect and move the needle, right? Many people underspend. Many people don't understand the return on investment comes with critical mass. So if you aren't hitting critical mass to see conversions, then you're underspending. And you need to know what those numbers are. And then that's just wasted money. So we want to make sure that that's streamlined. And then a good, clear call to action, we want to test that as well. Is the too good to resist offer good enough? Is it not converting? Is there something else people would like? Right? So all of our data is going to give us that information.
So these principles, Joel, are obviously applicable to both funnels, web pages of all kinds. You can kind of think through these principles in that way. And you also just gave some gold around how to drive traffic effectively to those pages, leveraging like first principles of ad creation, whether it's organic or paid ads. Most of those same principles apply, with the exception of maybe budget. But even then, your spend level, you can think of that in terms of how much time does it take, who are you paying to kind of pound out the organic side, or are you paying Facebook or LinkedIn or some social platform or even another paid service to drive traffic, Google or whatever it is. I love that you have these. This is a great image to screenshot, ladies and gentlemen, because this is your checklist just making sure that you're not missing a critical piece for not only funnels, but for some of your other campaigns as well. This is first principle stuff that goes across the board. So thank you, Joel, for this visual specifically. It's very good.
Thank you. And you bring up a good point. When we talk about spend level, there is the campaign level spend, which is what we're focused on here today. But also in the bigger picture that you brought up, the cost of acquiring a new customer, right? What is the cost that is involved in acquiring a new customer? So it could be all of your campaigns. One of our clients, we track the campaign, look at efficiencies and so on, but in the end, his cost of conversion, getting that new customer to say yes and pull the trigger, when that happens, it's 5 to 6 digits. So we're not talking about a $20 widget. So we want to do all of the campaigns combined lift the boat to reduce the cost of acquiring that customer.
So are you saying that the key here is to reverse engineer that client acquisition cost or that customer acquisition cost, that CAC? Is that what you're saying?
It all relates, right? So when we're talking about cost of acquisition, we're talking about all your conversions together, both paid, organic, social, everything that you spend on getting people to your sales pitch, right? Or to your conversion point.
Okay, good. So you're talking conversions, calls to action as it relates to kind of that end goal of acquiring a customer, but including all of the just all of the costs associated in your business with acquiring that one customer and kind of getting that data. Is that what I'm hearing? Getting that data.
Yeah,
So
because acquiring a customer is not one campaign, right? It's a birthday cake, right? So you've got different layers going on in your marketing, right? And if you follow the marketing blueprint, all of those are pre-sales actions, right? So as you're looking at all of that, how do they work together to give you that yes that you're looking for?
awesome.
Here's a good example. In this campaign, we did test results. So the before and after was, and it might be a little bit hard on some screens to read, but I just actually clipped this right out of the ads manager. But we've got two ad sets that we ran. We did 4 variations of 5 different ads. And we launched this campaign with the 4 winners. And we tested these ads against the group. And then we turned off the losers and added new ones to test against. So in this case, the first one, if you look at the top line, that it states recently completed, which is easier to see. But the top line, our cost per result was 22 cents per engagement. After we took the data and refined the campaign, we're now running at 14 cents per engagement. So you can see there's a benefit in testing and streamlining your campaigns.
That's a significant reduction. If you're talking about spending, X amount of dollars, that's what is that, like a 33% reduction or more?
Right. We usually pretty often we see a 30 to 40% reduction in ad cost when we've tested and done a proper analysis of the campaign and tested all of those things you saw in the steps earlier to give us data that allows us to reduce our cost in the auction.
Shoot, that's the difference between a profitable campaign and not. I mean, that's the difference between creating an ATM machine and going south on your client acquisition costs and onboarding new customers. Wow.
Yeah, and it could fund your management team, right? So if you're spending $5,000 or $10,000 a month in advertising, and we reduce your costs of ads by $4,000, how much help can you get with that? How much intelligence can you buy with that?
So what I'm hearing you say is, as long as you get critical mass, whether you're spending $500 or $5,000 a month, these tests are really important.
Extremely. And in that campaign I showed you, and here, this slide here, this client is spending maybe a total of $2,000 a month.
Okay.
Between management and ad costs. So it's not a huge budget, right? So when we go through this and we see there's 3 different campaigns, we had ad sets with 5 different ads.
Mm-hmm.
And then we used response quality versus cost to determine the winners.
Okay.
So you can see with some frequency, the number of impressions across the board. What we found was by graduating, you can see the graduation there, that the best results came from the active set version 2B, which is right in the middle there, where it showed $1 or 1.8 frequency on 11,800 impressions and a reach of 6,500 people. So in our post engagements, we're up to 1,200. So you can see for the cost and the volume how we pick these winners.
Do people fall in love with their ad sets before they even test them?
Yeah, everybody thinks their copy is the best, or their picture of their kid is the best, or and nobody wants to be told their baby is ugly, but sometimes we have to have a hard conversation.
Yeah, go in with some medicine, man. Go in with the doctor's prescription. Let's change this up. Interesting. And I also curious, I'm going to just throw some questions in because we got questions coming in the chat box. If you have questions, put them in the comments. This is where the questions start getting juicy right here. I mean, this is where it comes down to it, because you got your funnel built. And then now, how do you fill that funnel with this traffic that Joel's kind of given us some nuggets about, like just something to think about around that? But is it possible, Joel, to have high traffic but the wrong potential buyers? I mean, at what point do you pull an ad that has some conversion on the front end, but you're just not seeing the clients come out of or customers come out the other end over time? Like, how do you know when to do that?
Really great question. And you can see that right here in this Can You Get By campaign.
Yeah.
The overview, these guys here, they actually had really high numbers.
Yeah.
But the results that we were getting wasn't what the desired outcome was.
So you just change your target at that point, or your parameters or your keywords, and you start adjusting that so that the people that end up on the other end of toward the bottom of this funnel, they start kind of coming through, and it filters through, and it makes sure there's alignment with whoever you're talking to. That alignment can be adjusted based on your superpowers.
Yeah, and what was really interesting was in this campaign, what we were looking for were comments, right? We wanted the audience to talk to us.
Got it. Okay.
And so when the comments came in, they were, factions. I mean, they were not quality comments. So we had to really adjust the message, work with the images, continue to test headlines so that we could actually find quality comments for what we were after. And this was the end result of it all. If you see some variations of the ads, these are all different topics that were tested.
Right.
And we, in the end, our cost per result, we brought down 48% overall than the previous ad sets. We got the quality that we want, and we were able to launch with 4 winners based on these topics.
So if I'm hearing you right, in my kind of my basic memory mind, I'm trying to remember this, right? So if I'm hearing you right, it's get some kind of A/B testing going, fancy term for just multiple types of ads being tested. some basic testing going. Make sure that you have enough volume or frequency or traffic coming in test so that you can have real data. So you're not kind of fooling yourself. You don't want to send it to your friends, family, and neighbors, 12 people and call that a test. That's not a test. That's people who already know you, and you need a little bit more than a handful of people like that. Even even if you're going to do that, make sure it's in the hundreds or thousands, right? Like just make sure that you're getting a good test is what I'm hearing. And then even after that, you can refine it even more based on the results you're getting at the other end of the funnel. You might adjust the top of the funnel so that it can point this way and start spilling into the right buckets.
Yeah, exactly. And you remember the traffic that we talked about with the highways all going in all different directions and only a few cars on it, right? We were giving bad direction and not enough traffic. So, your sales funnel is going to fail.
I love it. Joel, how do people get a hold of you? And I know you have a few more slides here, but I remember you offering a free ideasession.com. How much time can people grab with you if they're watching this?
Yeah, so that's 30 minutes to sit down and talk about you, right? And to give you good data, actionable steps that you can take and run with. Give you some ideas of where to look, how to look. Bring a campaign. Bring your sales funnel, bring your data. Let's talk about it, and it's at no charge, and we'll give you some intelligence that you can walk away with. It's actionable. It's not a sales pitch. It's not designed for you to hire me to do your work, but it's designed to give you good direction so that you can be successful in your campaigns.
Hey, if you give enough people good direction, a few of them are going to end up circling back and hiring you to kind of do what they've maybe started or got going a little bit. So anything else, Joel, to add to our conversation before we bring in the put you on the hot seat and bring in some of our team members?
Yeah, so just a couple of things, some good points here. I just want to kind of redefine what traffic is.
Okay.
So that people understand that, like you said, there's good traffic and not so good traffic. So if we're going to convert our cold traffic to raving fans, then these are some things that we want to consider, right? Are we tagging that traffic? Are we putting those people into groups? Then are we nurturing them with good sequences? And are we providing good graduating offers that bring them closer and closer to you as they engage with you more and more? So the elements here include a nurturing sequence, group interest, meaning we've put people in a group and now we're serving them good value-based content, right? We're not just spamming them with, buy this, buy that. And then we have them in our email database. So we want to give them good updated information through email. And then we want to invite them into our inner circle, right? Get them close, high VIP status, membership benefits, right? Different ways to get more value in our relationship together. And then can we get some video testimonials from people that are happy with your service, and then provide referrals. So if you want raving fans, we have to work people up this ladder so that we can get to the point of them offering us out as a referral.
Love it.
So that's it. There's some different ways to find me. If you have some questions, there's freeideasession.com. You can scan the QR code if that helps you. If you want to learn more about all the different services that we provide in our agency, you can go to the website at coaxconsulting.com. And then I put this other little chat QR code to the side. It's basically the keys to the universe of how to get a hold of me. So if you can scan that QR code, you'll be able to go to this page there in the middle where it has my LinkedIn connections, phone calls, websites, emails, everything that you could want. And then, of course, a button for a free strategy call anytime you need it. So
I love it. I love it. Hey, just take a picture of that QR code, if nothing else, ladies and gentlemen. It'll scan it right in for you. But freeideasession.com will get you connected with Joel. He is the real deal. He'll say what he does and does what he says. He's not going to bait and switch you. He's not going to do anything weird. We're here to change the perception of marketing professionals around the world. That's part of why we're working together. And so if nothing else, at least set a time with him and just pick his brain and see what he thinks about what you're doing. And that'll be super fun. Plus he's just interesting to talk to in general. So hit him up for a quick question. Look him up, Joel Snyder. Check out his social pages if you want as well. But at least grab a picture of this screen here and you'll be good to go. All right. Well, Joel, are you ready for the love seat? Some call it the hot seat, like whatever you want to call it. Let's just light it up with some questions. If Christine, you want to jump in, Tim, you want to jump into the room, this will be a great time to just kind of chat it up, ask some questions. Awesome. So, Christine, I think you might have a little bit of noise in the background, but do you have any questions for Joel just right off the top?
Well, we have a ton of questions that are coming through in the back. If we want to ask any of those, I know people are like all excited about this topic. I'm one of them. I love the whole ads thing, and they can be so overwhelming. And I know for a lot of new business owners, they want to run ads, but they don't even know where to start. So Joel, great job today giving us kind of an overview of what to expect and what some of the options are.
Yay, and that noise went away, so I stand corrected. I don't know what was going on there for a second, but what questions do we have for Joel from the audience?
Well, so Kurt was asking about, I love his use of critical mass in relation to social ad spending. And I know we had another follow-up question that was asking, what does that mean when you say critical mass? Because I know some people are like, what? Give us a hand, Joel.
Sure. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
Oh, okay. You have my attention.
Right. So how many clicks do we need to see someone download a document? How many documents do they need to download for them to set a meeting? How many meetings do we need to have to get a sale? Right. So critical mass is how much do we need to spend in order to get enough traffic that we get meaningful results from our campaign.
Joel, I've heard it said, just in general, not specifics, because you got to be careful with that, right? Just kind of think of it in terms of zeros, right? Like how many thousands of eyeballs or ears are seeing or hearing what you're doing. Plan on a small percentage of those taking some kind of action, and then that action leading to another action, which we call conversion, and then that action leads to a potential sale. And that's oversimplification, but I always think in terms of like 1%. Like, if I can do this, I could be wrong, but I like to be conservative on this stuff. And I'd love for your insight on this, because there's some campaigns where you get 10% conversion, and there's other campaigns you get 1% conversion, and both are happy for different reasons. But if you think in terms of how many zeros can I put at the top of this funnel, like that's kind of a good place to start, especially as you're testing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I mean, the desired outcome is really the determining factor, right? So what do you want to get out of it? You know, if I just want people into my restaurant and I do free pizza Tuesday and I give away a free slice of pizza with every soda that you buy at lunch on Tuesday from 12 to 1, right? How many people are going to come in the restaurant, right? So when we're talking about a digital campaign, we want to say, if I'm going to give away or create a too good to resist offer, how many people do I need to show that to? And then how many people are in that audience so that I can get enough to accept my offer, right? So it's really desired outcome. And the more or the higher the price of the desired outcome to the consumer is going to determine a different level of critical mass than a discounted oil change, or, like I said, a free slice of pizza. So
am I correct in saying, am I hearing you right, Joel? Like a lot of this depends on your actual conversion rate once they get into your kind of your establishment or your the bottom of your funnel. You have to reverse engineer that one in order to get your actual top of the funnel critical mass.
Yeah.
So like if your conversion rate's like 1 out of 100, You might want to work on that a little bit with Joel first, and then start throwing thousands of people at the top of the funnel, not the other way around, correct?
Definitely. Yeah. And whenever we create a funnel, conversation or a sales conversion conversation, doesn't even have to be a digital funnel, but we talk about a sales conversion conversation, we have to say, okay, what's the desired outcome? What is a quality response? Right.
Okay.
And then we can work it backwards from there.
Christine, you got anything else?
Well, so Kurt had a follow-up question. What kind of budget is a decent launching off point? 500, 1,000, 5,000? Is there a stair-step process to increase the budget over time as revenue begins to come in? I think a lot of business owners are probably asking that question, right? How much do I need to spend on ads?
Yeah, well, we can give some benchmarks. I mean, there are industry benchmarks. And so some clicks, when we're talking about ads, a cost per click, right? Those are auction based. So we do know that when you put your ad out there, Google or Bing or whoever it is that you're advertising on, they're charging you a cost per click based on the auction. So what they're saying is you have competitors asking for the same action. They're willing to spend $1. Are you willing to spend $1.25? Right? So we can get some basic numbers that are industry specific that says, okay, your cost per click. So for example, in the financial industry, your cost per click could be $40. You want an oil change, your cost per click could be $20 or $30. Well, an oil change, if you're doing an $8, for the filters and and the labor and all that, that could be cost prohibitive if you don't get enough action. So the question becomes, is that now a loss leader or is that an actual profitable item that you're going to sell, right? So when we're talking about structuring a budget, what's the jumping off point? Those first couple of weeks, we put a lot of money, what you think you would spend in a month or what we would predict to be spent in a month. We would run that budget for about 2 weeks, give it about 10 days. And that'll tell you whether that's enough to spend or not enough, right? So the jumping off point and how we scale is going to be dependent on our spend test.
High ticket item, low ticket item, industry specific, auctions. Okay, those are, wow, good insights. Christine, anything else from the audience before we get? Tim had a few great questions. He's going to come.
He does have some great questions. He might have some follow-up questions on the topic we have right now. If not, I know he's dying to ask questions about some of the metrics and behind the scenes magic stuff.
Anything else from the audience at this point, Christine?
Let's take one last look to see.
Thank you, Kurt, for those questions. Really good job on getting specific there. Awesome.
I think we're talking about fuzzy attribution of cookies and tracking go dark. Yet we're getting into those dark, deep secrets of metrics and all that kind of stuff. All right, Joel.
Fuzzy attribution, that's a good question. I think, there's opportunity for people to opt out of cookies. What they can't opt out of is IP address recognition. And so when we see the traffic attribution come in, our source traffic, it may not show us exactly who, but it gives us numbers of where. So we know that they're coming in either organically or through a paid channel. We know if it's a social referral or an ad campaign. We know if it's coming from DuckDuckGo or from Bing or the homepage, and we also know inside links right within the website. Did they go from one page to another, or did they just come to a landing page and leave? Right. So fuzzy attribution is a great question. At the same time, there are ways to streamline a campaign based on the data that we're getting in even a more general space. And I think the real question around fuzzy attribution is, can you identify the individual who came? Now, there's ways to target groups of people that came and didn't convert, sales cart abandonment, just IP traffic, that cold web visitor, someone who came to a specific page, we can send them an offer, right? So depending on that, we can capture IPs, yeah.
Such a nerd, man. You're such a nerd. I love that. Tim, you had some questions, and I know Christine was kind of teeing you up here. You had some questions. Can you fire off at least one of those and kind of see where we go?
Yeah, I'm definitely a novice when it comes to this stuff. So I think I'm a good person to ask questions because I don't fall into the trap of the what's the term? No, speaking a language that most people are not familiar with.
Sure.
So my question is, when you're testing, who are we testing on? Like you say testing. So some people are getting your content, they're getting the information, they're getting links to your sales funnel, and I would think that those people are, if they're people that I have contact with, are going to be prime candidates. They're going to throw off the measurement because they're going to be people that at least in my mind. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, good question. I mean, we can test various audiences, right? So we can test audience groups. Again, depending on the desired outcome, that's going to determine who we go after, right? Who we show your information to. So, we had an author who wrote a book. He had a couple thousand people in his Facebook feed, and so we ran ads right to that. And, he sold a few books, right? It's not going to build him a new vacation home, but it was it was what he wanted. Then when we put it out to the general public and we started taking traffic from YouTube channels and sympathetic videos and said, hey, if you like that, you'll love this, right? Now we were in the hundreds of thousands of views, and now we were starting to see book sales going at a little better clip, right? So it really kind of depends on the desired outcome and how you want to build that audience, right? It may be you just run ads because you want more people to subscribe to your newsletter, right?
Mm-hmm. So how do you track all this information? Being a neophyte, I mean, I'm not a numbers guy. I know it doesn't take a genius to look at them and see what's performing and what's not performing. But it looked like you had some software that you were analyzing all that information through.
Yeah, so the answer is yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we find it all, right? We look at it all and put it in a dashboard to make it easy to read so that the client can make some good value-based decisions. But you're spending your money. I don't know if you go to a stockbroker and give them your life savings and just hope for the best, right? So we want to make sure that the data is substantiating the ad spend, right? If you're not getting 20% back on your investment in your business, in income and profit, then you're probably better off getting a job, right? Because now your investment is your time to go and do a job, but you're going to get paid for it, right? So, I have a very passionate client advocacy position. When an entrepreneur or business owner comes to me for a campaign, the one thing I know is I'm spending his grocery money, right? Because these are bottom line dollars. And if I'm not highly accountable to that spend, I'm wasting or taking money from his family. So it would be abhorrent for me to put anyone in a box, tell them they need to give me $5,000 a month for ad costs and not substantiate it.
So what I'm hearing you say, Joel, and that is that you're using the software as tools, and whether the client is familiar with all, dozen pieces of software that you use, you put it all into a nice dashboard that helps them understand it easily, so that when the team meeting, the board meetings or the team meetings are happening and they're talking about their bottom line, they're saying, no, for every dollar we put in, we get $1.20 back, or $1.50 back, or whatever, or $2 back, or whatever it is. Joel's actually delivering groceries to us, not taking groceries away from us. Like, we need to make sure that your funnel people, your web design people, your ad spend people have this mindset. And Tim, that's a great question, because what kind of software do we need is one part of this. But when you have somebody who can either guide you to the right basic software to get started, like Joel can, or he manages all that software so that it can spit out the information you need as a customer or client, then now that's an even higher level service, as opposed to click, click, click. I hope I can figure this out. And we've all done it. We've all done it. We've all clicked around on Facebook or Google or different places, depending on what you're doing, and tried the $100 or $200. And it's like, okay, that was interesting enough for me to like it. It's almost like the oil change analogy. I'll change my oil, and there's some guys and gals out there like, I'll always change your own oil. And it's like, okay, I make X amount of dollars an hour. It takes me an hour to change my oil. And you're like, oh, it doesn't take that long to change your oil. Yeah, it does. By the time you go and buy your stuff and then drain this and then get rid of this and then do this, yeah, it takes about an hour. So if I'm going to do it myself, there's opportunity cost that is involved in this conversation. So if somebody has a bunch of tools and a bunch of software that they can do to kind of spit this out for you and adjust it and test it for you, goodness gracious. And
So
Joel,
my last question to Joel is to tell me, because if I'm looking to you to help me make a decision on whether I should invest in the software, to analyze the data, to educate myself and help me understand the costs that I would incur, the time it might take me, as opposed to justifying paying someone to take care of these things for me.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, a lot of people go there, and I've had clients come to me that are Google Analytics, gurus, to say, I'm so deep in the weeds, I'm not even running my business, because they're just looking at so many data points and trying to understand it. So the short answer is free. There's free tools, right? Google Analytics is free. Facebook Ads Manager is free. LinkedIn is free, right? So all of those have analytical tools built in. Your website probably has some analytics built into it, right? But are you pulling all the analytics together in a way that's showing a true benefit to the growth of your business, right? And that's what we're talking about here. Is at the beginning of my conversation, there's reasons these campaigns fail. And I've given you those reasons. And I've shown you the difference between a untested campaign and a tested and streamlined campaign. Now, where you want to fall in the spectrum of all of this is the time and money question, right? My agency probably spends well over $1,000 a month in analytical tools and software. So which is cost prohibitive to most single companies running a campaign, right? But if you want big data, you want to find audiences in a specific niche, you want to see a certain behavior happening across the web and then target those people in order to deliver high quality content, right? How you refine that just boosts the quality of your campaign. So whether it's a better audience, a better message, a better image, right? Yeah, you can create stuff in Canva for free. Is it an image that's going to create an emotional response and generate an action, right? All of these things don't live in a silo. So you have to put them all together in order to have a successful campaign. What degree of success you want in that campaign, that's entirely up to you. If you're happy with the results you get, bueno, go for it. If you're satisfied that it's okay, then you can live with it. But if I could save you 40% on your dollar and give you better data, improve your business so that you can grow by 20 or 30% a year, would that be important to you? Right? For some, it's not. If you're a stalwart 100-year-old company, everything's predictable, fine. But I have a 100-year-old company client who wants to grow. Okay. So here you go, right? So it's really, it's as much or as little as you want, right?
Christine, can you scroll that freeideasession.com across the bottom there one more time? We're going to wrap this up, kind of land the plane here. Any last kind of quick question to kind of wrap us up here?
I say, Joel, great explanation of, like you said, where do you want to put your time in your business? And as business owners, we have to wear a lot of hats. And if being the ad person is not a hat you want to wear, that's one of those times it's nice to bring in a specialist like you who can really handle that for us. So thank you so much for explaining that.
Sure, my pleasure.
Funnels and traffic. Let's get them right. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next Tuesday. And we also have other opportunities throughout the week, too. Christine, do you want to just mention that?
Absolutely. We're scrolling right now saying invite your friends to our fun marketing group. We go to givermarketing.com/group, and that'll bring you to our Facebook group, which is a free group. Everybody can come hang out. If you're a business owner wanting to just dabble and find out a little bit more about marketing, come hang out and talk to our experts in there. If you're a marketer, you want to, rub elbows with other marketers, come join our group also. We also have on Wednesdays now, we're doing marketing and we're doing networking with marketers. So we're having a lot of fun. That's on Wednesdays now. So scrolling across the screen, you'll see 8 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. Central time, and 11 a.m. East Coast time. And if you hang out with us, you can learn how to maybe white label each other, how to collaborate and find other marketers that you want to work with. There's just so many possibilities. So come hang out with us tomorrow.
Hey, sounds fun. Well, we look forward to seeing you at one of those places. And also, we'll be here next Tuesday, same time, same channel. Wherever you're watching us now, you're going to see that next Tuesday at the same time. Keep those comments and questions coming, and Joel will circle back and try to answer as many of those as he can. So God bless you guys. We'll see you next time. Talk to you soon.